Good morning, students. I think you might have studied the previous portion. Yesterday's portion, the importance of accounting. It was a long answer. You might have learned that one, all the importance. Now we are going to learn the basic accounting terminologies. Yesterday itself, I told you that we are having many terms. Many terms I have explained already. Even then, I am going to explain once again all the terms what is given in this book. Okay, the basic accounting terminologies. The terms. What are the important terms? By listening these terms, you will understand accounting. What is accounting? Okay, so listen carefully. Here nothing to learn, study by heart, but you should keep this in mind forever. As an accounting student, you should know this one very well. Okay, I will explain one by one. First, transactions. What is a transaction? It is an activities. All the activities of a business concern that involves money or money's worth. Money or money's worth. Because when we purchase something, there is a transaction. What activity is going on? We purchase some goods. That we can say that money is worth. We are purchasing the goods. Or when we go in a bus, what we never get a good thing from the bus, but what we get a service. We can transport from one place to another. That service they are providing. Or you are coming to learn in the school and you pay money. So what you get knowledge, or we can say in common ideas. Or we go to a doctor, we get the service. Or a consultant, how to construct a building. There we get some ideas, but we pay something for them. So that is called money's worth. So we are transferring some money or money's worth. That activity is called a transaction. So transaction, you have to remember that it is an activity that involves we transfer some money. We give money and that person may give us another product, or they provide some service, or they give some ideas. So what is the transaction? Transaction is an activity that involves the transfer of money or money's worth from one person to another. That is called a transaction. One person is giving money, the other person is giving a product or rendering service or providing some ideas. Okay, that is transaction. Second one. Here this transaction we should learn. This transaction are divided into two, either cash transaction or credit transaction. We know if we pay cash or receive cash, that transaction is called cash transaction. That means immediate cash payment. When we involve this activity, soon after that activity, if we pay cash or receive cash, at the time of the activity, that is called a cash transaction. So in short, we can say immediate cash payment or cash received takes place at that transaction is called cash transaction. Understood? Cash may be paid or received immediately soon after the activity. At the same time, immediate payment or receipt will be done in a transaction, then that transaction is called cash transaction. So we go to the market to buy fish. What we do? We pay the cash and we receive the fish. That is called cash transaction. Understood? Then next one, credit transaction. Just opposite of cash transaction. Here, that cash payment or receipt is not done immediately, but it will be paid later or in future. Paid or received. Cash will be paid or received not immediately during the transaction, but on a future date, later on a future date. If the payment or receipt is taking place, then that transaction is called credit transaction. Understood? For example, we pay now the school fees. If we are not able to pay fully, what we say, we will pay on a future date. That we can say that is a credit transaction. We do not pay the cash immediately. Understand? Now related to this transaction only, these two, cash transaction and credit transaction. Next term, account. We know what is an account. So that is the fundamental unit, basic unit in accounting. Basic unit in accounting. Because, for example, we say, even in our day-to-day life, we use, we will close his account, isn't it? To denote a person or a business. School account. We used to say school account or his account. When we go to a bank, that we know, isn't it? Our bank account, the savings bank account. So that is the basic unit in accounting. What account is the basic unit for measurement in accounting. We can open this account for a person or business asset, separate expense. You will learn all these accounts in future in the third lesson. Then income, etc. For all these things we will start a separate account, each separate account. And in this accounting we can say this account is a summary of transaction. Because when we open a customer's account, we can see all the transactions that take place under the name of that person. So we can say in accountancy that account is a summary of transactions under a head. So if we open an account in the name of a customer, all the transactions we can say what and all he has purchased, how much he has paid, how much goods he has returned to us, and what is the closing balance. So we can see the whole thing under that head. So it is a summary of transactions. That is account. The next term, capital. What is capital? Capital I have told you already. Capital is the amount invested by the proprietor in his business. In the beginning, to start any business, we need to introduce some amount in the business. That is called capital. The amount invested by the owner or the proprietor. Proprietor is also invested. Understand? Owner or proprietor. The amount invested by an owner or proprietor of an organization is called the capital. So in the beginning, if we invest 10 lakhs to start a new business, to purchase some land and to construct a building, then to purchase the goods that we have to sell in the market. So we need a large amount to invest. That amount is called capital. That amount will be invested or introduced by the owner. That owner is also known as proprietor. That is why that it is called capital. Okay, that meaning is it is the amount invested by the owner or proprietor in an organization. That is called capital. The next one is drawings. Just opposite of drawings. What is capital? He is investing some amount in the business. Here, what is drawings? From the business, he can withdraw some amount. He may withdraw. Withdraw means he can take for personal use. He is running a business and all of a sudden he need to take some money to pay the fees of his child. So what he will do? He may withdraw some, because it is his amount. Okay. So he is withdrawing some amount from his business for his personal use, for his child's studies. So that amount is called drawings. Understood? The amount which is withdrawn from the business for his personal use is called drawings. Then voucher. Voucher is a written or printed document in support of any transaction. For example, we go to buy some cloth from a textile shop. After purchasing, what we will get? We will pay the amount, isn't it? So, as an evidence, we will get one printed document, one bill, isn't it? Not bill, we have to call it as the cash receipt. All these are the examples. Understand? Cash receipt. Or it is when we pay some cash. No, if you pay fees in the school, you will get cash receipt. Then if you go to the shop and buy goods, you will get cash memo. That is called cash memo. Then you may get invoice. If you purchase on credit, we will get one document that is called invoice. Or when you go to bank to deposit money, we will take one slip to pay, to deposit amount in the bank. One long piece will be available there. One short document also will be there. The long one we will fill it up and we will give to the cashier. He will tear that part and he will keep this as his record. The small receipt he will give it us back. This is called bank pay-in slip. Just we go to the bank and we will ask that deposit slip, isn't it? That slip is called pay-in slip. So all these are the written or printed document as an evidence. That is called voucher. Understood? A written or printed document in support of a business transaction that we get is called a voucher. That voucher may be either it may be cash receipt. For each transaction we will get one voucher. If we pay cash, we will get a cash receipt. And if we pay cash and we get some things, that is called cash memo. If we purchase something on credit, we will get invoice. If we deposit money in the bank, we will get bank pay-in slip. All these will be considered as voucher. So it is an evidence for a transaction. It may be written document or printed document. Understood? Now we will see the next one. Eighth one, goods. What is called goods in business? Goods we can say maybe the things or articles or commodities. The name, isn't it? Things or articles or commodities, all these are called as goods. When it is called as goods, if they deal with these goods. When a business is dealing with some things or articles or commodities, that is called goods. For example, a textile shop will purchase textiles from various mills or maybe the wholesale shops. They may purchase. Why they purchase this one? For dealing. They will buy and sell. They will buy from wholesale market and they will sell in a retail. So both are happening. Buying and selling takes place with these goods. For example, you should understand another thing. If they purchase a furniture they purchase, or they are purchasing office equipments, this we are not called as goods. Why? Because they are not dealing with, they are buying, not buying and selling. They only purchase and they use them. Understand? So they will not come under this goods. But all the things that they purchase for their dealing, they are buying and selling in order to sell. All the goods that they purchase are called goods. Here we cannot say, but here this furniture, a furniture shop, what they will do? If it is a furniture shop, they may purchase furniture and they sell. For them, it is goods. Understood? So all the things or articles or commodities that they are dealing in a business is called goods. Then the next one, purchases. It's also little related to this goods. Okay, the ninth one. What are called purchases? When we buy goods, buying and purchasing same meaning, isn't it? Buying goods with the intention of resale. Why they are purchasing? For selling. When they purchase goods in order to sell, those goods are called purchases. Or in other words, buying goods with the intention of resale is called purchases. Understood? Here we cannot say the purchases when one business house, it is buying some furniture for its use, it will not come under purchases. That is an asset for them. Understand? So all the goods that they purchase in order to sell them for the customers, that goods are alone, that buying is called purchases. Then related to purchases, purchase returns. Purchase returns. We may return some of the purchases. These purchase returns are also called returns outward, because we are returning this one to the suppliers. It is going out. That is why it is called returns outward or purchase returns. Understood? What is this one? So when goods bought are returned. We have already bought some goods that we realize that goods are not up to our expectation, not up to the standard, or it is damaged. What we will do? We will return those goods to the supplier. That is called purchase returns or returns outward. So when goods bought are returned to the suppliers, they are called purchase returns or returns outward. Understood? Then next one, opposite to purchases, sales. What are sales? Now, what we have purchased, isn't it? Buying goods for the intention of resale. So, that goods are called goods meant for resale. The goods that we have bought for resale. Goods meant for resale are sold. Now we are selling them. That selling is called sales. When goods meant for resale are sold, they are called sales. Because we have purchased some goods, now we are selling these goods, purchased goods, that is called sales. If you sell one furniture that is damaged, that will not come under sales. Because we did not buy that furniture for resale. That we have bought for using in the business. So, that sales means the goods meant for resale are sold, it is called sales. Now we will learn sales returns or returns inwards. Now we have sold goods. Now that goods may be returned by the customers because we sold them to whom? They are called the customers, those who buy our product. That term is not given, that you should know. All the people, those who purchase goods from us are called customers. That you may know. That is common term that we use, customers, isn't it? So, when the customers return the goods that they have bought from us due to some reason that I told you, maybe damaged goods or that goods are not up to their expectation or up to their standard, they may not like to use that goods, they may return those goods. So that returning of goods by the customers is called sales returns or returns inward because it comes in. Then the next one is stock. This is also related to purchase sales stock. We have purchased some goods for resale purpose and we are keeping in the business house. We have sold some of them. The remaining goods is called stock. That means what? The unsold goods. The unsold goods lying in the business one particular date, that is called what? Stock. Understood? The goods that are not sold and that they remain in our business house on a particular date is called stock. Then the next one, income. Income means when we sell some goods, what we receive? We receive some amount, isn't it? So we receive some amount, that one, or some other earnings, amount received on sales. Or some other earnings. If we give some amount as investment, we will receive what? Interest from that. Or if we hire a building for rent, we will receive rent. Like that we may receive some income. Or if we deal with some activity, we may receive some commission for doing some service. Or if we have invested some amount in a company in shares, we will get some amount that is called dividend. So all these are the earnings and the amount that we receive on sale of our commodities. Altogether it is called income. Understood? All the amount receivable on sales and the other earnings from interest, rent, commission, dividend, then any discount, all these are called income. Understood? Then the next term is expense. What are all expense? So all the amount incurred, we have spent, isn't it? That we call as incurring loss, we say. Amount incurred in order to produce or sell the goods. We have to spend a lot of amount to produce some goods. Or in order to sell the goods, we have to do packing, or we have to take that one to the market, we have to spend some amount. All these are called expenses. The amount incurred by a business concern in order to produce or sell goods, that amount is called expense. Understood? Then the next one is solvency. Solvency also I think I have explained to you. Solvency position. It is the position of the enterprise, whether it is able to pay the debts. That is called solvency. Position of the business, whether it is able, or capacity of the business also we can say, capability of the person or business to pay the debts. Debts means all the loan, we can say, all the sundry creditors. When we purchase on credit, we have to pay them. All these are called the debts. Whether it is capable to pay the debts, that position is called solvency position. Understood? Whether a business or a person is able to pay the debts that he has or that business has, that is called solvency. Then insolvency, opposite of solvency. If a person or a business is not capable, not able to pay the debts or its obligations, that is called insolvency. When a person or a business is not able to pay the business debts or his debts, that is called insolvency position. Now, asset. What is an asset? We know, we have heard, isn't it? That we can say simply, asset means, ordinary word is property. You will understand. You think that asset means property. Or the thing, what is the explanation of this asset or property? A thing that we possess or we own. A thing that a business owns. Or we can say a right. For example, thing you may understand, no, land that we own, that is called a property, that is an asset. Otherwise, a building, we own a building, so we can say that is our property, that is an asset. What is a right? For example, if you write a book, or if you have invented something, as a scientist or anyone, something you have invented, so we will be getting one right, that is called copyright. For the book it is called copyright. For inventing something, that is called patent right. So if you have that right, that is also called as an asset, that we cannot see that asset. But this asset that we own, things we can see them. But this rights we cannot see. Maybe a goodwill of the company. We can say our own school example, Bethlehem. It has got a good name, isn't it? That is called goodwill. It has also some value. Understand? Because for years they have earned that name, good name, that is called goodwill. Because of many years they have worked hard and they have got a name, that is called goodwill. So that is also a right of the owner. So that is also called as an asset. Understood now what is an asset? Now the opposite of asset is called liability. That we will see. Liability. Next one. What is a liability? Opposite of an asset. That means we have one financial obligation. Financial obligation of a business is called liability. Obligation means responsibility. We need to pay some amount. That is called obligation. If we have borrowed a loan, that is a liability. Or the capital itself is a liability for the business to repay it to the owner. So that is called liability. Understood? Then the next one is debtor. Who is a debtor? The customers, credit customers. If we sell some goods on credit to our customers, they are called the debtors. That means they receive a benefit, but when they make the payment on a future date. In short, they are the credit customers. They are called the debtors. Then opposite of debtor, creditor. Creditor, we receive a benefit, but that payment takes place on a future date. Here we can say the credit suppliers. We get the goods from the suppliers, but we are receiving the goods, but the payment takes place on a future date. So they are called the creditors. So who are the creditors? The credit suppliers. Then the next one, depreciation. Depreciation of assets only in the building. So today we are constructing a new building. After 10 years, we cannot receive the full amount that we have invested in that building, isn't it? So there is a reduction in the value of the asset. Reduction in the value of asset is called depreciation. It is due to various reasons. Maybe due to usage, because we purchase a car and we use, isn't it? Or passage of time. After some years, even if we use or do not use, we cannot get the full value. That is called depreciation. The last one given is bad debt. Bad debt related to debtors. We sell goods on credit to our customers. We cannot expect the full amount from the customers. Some customers may not be able to pay. So that it is a loss. Bad debt is a loss when the customers is not able to pay, or we can say when the full amount of the debtors is not received. That reduction in the value of debtors is called a bad debt. So we can say it is an irrecoverable debt. Sometimes a customer may die. He may not have any other person to receive that amount. So that amount is an irrecoverable debt. That is called a bad debt. Very bad. We cannot receive it back. Okay? That is irrecoverable debt. So today I have explained 23 terms. You read them clearly. One of our students have sent a message that page number is differing. I think you can explain to me which edition you have. First edition or second edition, then I will come to know. I have the second edition. In second edition, it is in page number 8 and 9. You read this, understand this. Very useful for you to know to understand accountancy clearly in future. So read it and understand it. If you have any doubt, you ask me. Okay students, thank you very much.